don't say this too often, but I don't know what the the critics were thinking. Uptown Girls isn't a film I grew up with, and in the case of 2000s comedies, that usually means that my first watch with my world-weary adult eyes doesn't result in me liking the film. But Uptown Girls defied my expectations. Uptown Girls is about Molly, the naive and childish daughter of a dead rock star. When her inheritance is embezzled, she's forced to get a job, so she starts nannying for Ray, a cynical 8-year-old. Molly and Ray slowly discover that they are more similar than they thought, and they shape each other for the better. Uptown Girls has the premise, tropey characters, and banter of a comedy from the 1940s. The set and the costume design is maximalist and fun to look at. I mean, it has the same director of photography as Goodfellas, Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Last Temptation of Christ. And above all, Uptown Girls adheres to the expected arc of its genre while delivering surprising emotional complexity and small acts of subversion. Our leading lady does not end the film with a boyfriend or with her wealth restored. What we get instead is growth for her character that's more satisfying and grounded. Uptown Girls has gotten a lot of love in recent years, and it's the source of several memes, but when it came out, Uptown Girls performed really poorly with critics, which likely stunted Brittany Murphy's trajectory as a leading lady. Now, there is a notable exception to this. Roger Ebert loved this film. He wrote, "Uptown Girls could have been a simple-minded, relentlessly cheerful formula picture. There's an underlying formula there, of course, with all of its problems resolved at the end, but Ray is anything but another cookie-cutter little movie girl, and Molly's problems at times are really daunting." We've really got to bring this guy back. But the Ebert approval did not seem to sway other critics. Uptown Girls is currently sitting at a 14% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 86% of critics had middling to negative things to say about this movie. And that feels really weird to me. I'm not the type to curse film criticism as an industry if the critical opinion feels off base. I don't think it's a critic's job to predict how an audience will like a film on average. I think it's a critic's job to analyze the film they see and explain why they liked or didn't like it with precision and accuracy to the content. And in that regard, I think some of the reception to this film is a lesson in how prejudice can make you a film critic. Jeff Pavir of the Toronto Star opened his review for Uptown Girls as follows. "Sometimes movies startle you by raising questions it never occurred to you to ask, like this one, posed by the chipper girl buddy comedy Uptown Girls. Can two over-pampered but fundamentally lonely persons of the blonde female persuasion bond meaningfully with each other while shopping? Apparently, yes." I'm getting upset again, just reading it. Okay, so here's the thing. Molly and Ray never shop together, Jeff. The whole inciting action of the film is that Molly loses all of her money. She has nothing to shop with. The closest I can find to a shopping spree is Molly's purchase of Egyptian cotton sheets at the beginning of the movie, which she gives to Neil, her love interest. Jeff's sexist assumptions about a film with two protagonists of the blonde female persuasion literally made him hallucinate things that didn't exist. It literally made him bad at his job. He could not talk about the movie that he saw. Okay, so this was 23 years ago. I don't know what Jeff is up to now. I don't want the smoke with Jeff, and I definitely don't think this is an indictment of film criticism. As a person who talks about movies online, I can say that people who talk about movies online are not held to an ethical standard and do not have to have a base of knowledge in film. And generally speaking, the film critics writing columns for major newspapers and magazines are held to those expectations. I think both things are important and both things need to exist. But what I think this situation does emphasize is the importance of having critics from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences to lend some balance to the critical consensus. Nobody is objective. We're all watching films through different lenses. So when the industry is filled to the brim with critics who have very similar lenses, this is the result. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest. Uptown Girls is great if you haven't seen it. It's on Canopy and Tubi with ads.